The NFL draft is 8 days away, guys. We've been talking about this for months, almost a week away. I got Mal from Downtown Sports here to talk about some running backs, all the running backs. We have your ranks. We have consensus top 10. We kind of have a lot of load of shit in terms of this class.
I
There's
mean,
not a lot of great ones.
At least it's not a D. At least it's not a D. I mean, the quarterbacks are still worse.
And we have a potential generational player, but the similarities are close though, because Mendoza's there. I like Jeremiah Love better at his position than Mendoza. Obviously, running backs are safer. Their hit rates are way, way higher. But after that, there's a couple guys. We'll talk about Jadarian Price and some of the other guys, but it's possibly a deep class. But coming off last year's class where Kyle Monangai was a 7th round pick, JCM was a 7th round pick. These guys, went 25 deep. And it's like this year I'm struggling to get 10. Like that's like where would Kyle Monangai be ranked for you in this class? Like top 6, top 5?
Yeah, about there. I'd say Kyle Monangai he'd probably be 4.
That's
4.
That's wild. That was a 7th round pick. Now he should have never gone in the 7th round pick, but that class was so loaded. And what goes along with that mouth with this, we're talking about this running back class, and you know what? There's always gonna be some gems in the rough. But the older running backs that are sticking around, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, some of those guys. Now you have last year's class that was super deep, and there's not a lot of openings for these guys, at least from day one, right? For the come in and be a day one starter. You have teams like the Seahawks, maybe the Vikings, and then other than that, like it's going to be a committee situation almost certainly for all these guys. Besides Jeremiah Love,
last year you got a lot of starters. You got a lot of potential starters out of that bunch of running backs. You know what this year is? This year is the RB2 class. This year is the running back class that's going to finally kick out the Justin Hills and the Keaton Mitchells and the Samaje Perines of the league. Those guys are finally going to get out. Like Ty Johnson is going to lose his job to one of these guys. Like your third down backs are going to come from this class.
Yeah, and you know what? It's still nice to know about these guys, and it's not even a dynasty conversation. It's maybe, end of the year, maybe 2027. Like they will get their shot. They will all pretty much get a fair shake. And we want to know which ones we like, right? Which ones that have upside, which ones fit into certain roles, which guys have the body types to be 3-down backs. And 3-down back isn't what it used to be, Mouth. It's 60% workload essentially.
Yeah. I mean, hell, a guy who just got 45% of the snaps in his backfield just got paid $15 million a year.
Who are you talking about?
Walker, a dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
A little tiny dancer.
Yeah, what is Walker? He's top 5, top 3 highest paid running back in the league. Just because recency bias, they always pay the guys more recently more money. But yeah, dude.
So is he weird? Is he a dirty dancer or is he a dirty dancer or a flash dancer now? Which one is he?
Both.
He can't be a tiny dancer anymore. His pockets are too big.
No, but you know what? I'm still gonna stick with tiny dancer just because I love the clip. So I saw it was like a tweet or something about Jeremiah Love. He's probably gonna go top 5, top 6, top 7, and with that draft capital, he would already be like the 7th highest paid running back in the NFL. Just based on how the NFL is paying running backs. And usually guys don't go in the top 10 anymore.
Yeah, well, wait until Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs' turn comes around. You're going to see the first $20 million running backs in NFL history. Guaranteed.
Deservingly so, though, because those guys are difference makers, and that's their whole offense for both teams, honestly.
Yeah, well, you just saw, listen, Alec Pierce just got paid $30 million. The sky is falling.
That's the culture idiots. I do have an update though. We have a Puka Nacua sighting. This isn't a recent picture, but I want to talk about Puka a little bit. And Mouth loves this picture. There he is. There's Puka with that. What's that hair, dude?
You finally picked him up. You finally picked him up. Oh, good. You finally picked him up before he went to. Finally took him. We're finally taking him to rehab. How good. Wonderful.
Yeah. So that story seems to be gone. So all the vets. I saw him going 5 and 6 sometimes in best ball because people were scared, and I wish that was me. I never had that draft slot in that time frame when people were worried, but he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, he's all healthy now. Hopefully, he stops biting people. We have your mouth. We have your top 8 running backs mouth, and I'm going to kind of compare your top 8 with both ESPN, Draft Buzz, and then kind of my own. I don't have my official rankings out yet, but I have an idea where most of these guys are at, and we're gonna have some disagreements for sure.
I think everybody disagrees with everyone. I swear to God, everyone disagrees with everybody. And you know what? I just went by what I saw and what I think their career profiles are going to be. And maybe you might look at some of these guys and say, well, I think this player obviously has more skills than this player, and this player has more skills than this player. I'm going by how long will they be in the league? That is literally my barometer.
Yeah, that's a fair one. I'm going to put up here's Mouse top 8. We're going to go just talk about this for a second. Top 9, actually, because you added a 9th guy. You added Damon Claiborne was a late addition for you. And my question to you before we get into all these guys individually is, did you just add him in there? I know he's 3 spots ahead of Jonah Coleman, but I know you've been actively hating on Jonah Coleman. Is this just a slight against Jonah Coleman? Because they're far different players.
I actually, the reason I am talking about the third down back very hardcore is because I just got done really examining this kid's film, like the extra 15 minutes before I had to handle the thing I had to handle. Sorry for the 11:30 start, but when work calls, you pick up. But you know, he screams third down back in the NFL to me. He really does. He is a one-cut runner with pretty decent burst speed on film, at least. And you don't see many instances of it, but he can catch a football. And he knows what to do with the football once he catches it and gets himself into open space. So to me, this screams third down running back, and his comparison to me looks like Samaje Perine.
There's not a lot of third down running backs in this class, which is kind of weird. Like it's very light on that aspect.
That is him. That Claiborne is your third down running back. That is who he is. Clock him in for third down. If you could teach the guy how to block, he's going to have a nice long career.
And you have Jonah Coleman down there at 9. We'll get to him a little later, but what's the first thing that you hate about him? The thing you hate most?
I think you have a clip that explains it.
Let me take a little gander here. I think I have it. Here it is.
Stone shield potions should be... Oh, God. I'm gonna have diarrhea again. You can't go to the bathroom. You're stacking Sunder armor. It's okay. Mom! Bathroom!
What, hon?
Bathroom! Bathroom!
Oh, that's a big boy, isn't he?
All right, Kenny, drink your elixir of the mongoose. I'm now going to use Mocking Blow.
Mocking Blow. Mocking Blow.
That's what you're gonna call him?
Yeah, his nickname is Mocking Blow. So Mocking Blow gets jiggy with it way too often when he's in the running lane.
And he's
literally
huge.
What? Yeah. When you know how Mr. Walker is the tiny dancer? That's his gigantic Russian dancing partner that gets flown in from Moscow every year, to join him for ballroom dancing. Right? He's the one that you pay
dancer.
Huh?
Fat dancer? We can call him the fat dancer, even though he's not that fat, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you can't call him the fat dancer because you get canceled, so we have to call him Mocking Blow.
Oh, you can't cancel this program. Not enough people want to cancel this program. That's the one thing I got in the feather in my cap.
Yeah, that's true. But once we get more people to watch, we can call him the fat dancer, but until then, Mocking Blow. But Well, I don't know what else to say. He dances too much in the lane. It's like the idea of him seems good, but there are better ideas than Jonah Coleman that are more developed than him that do better things. I mean, I'm sorry.
Washington players have
Even
not been panning out either recently. Like none of them have panned out the last couple of years. Not just running backs, but any Washington player.
And even the Washington player that I have ranked at 8 that I don't like is a better Washington player than Jonah Coleman.
All right, let's get into the list. Let's start at the top here with Jeremiah Love, Mouth. So is he generational for you? I know obviously he's number one in this class, but would he have been number one in the last couple years?
If I were to rank him, it would be Bijan, Love, Gibbs. Yeah.
So you have him ahead. You have him ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs as a prospect, which is pretty high. That's pretty high praise. So what is it about Love that puts him over Jahmyr Gibbs? Because he's essentially the same size. He's a little thicker. Is it the pass catching? Because Jahmyr Gibbs is a good
he's a lot
in terms of stats, but he's not the eye test.
Yeah, he's a lot more handsy than Gibbs is. And I like the idea that he was able throughout his entire career to keep the number 2 guy on this list off the field. That's to me a bigger, check in his box than you can give anybody. Hell, even Bijan coming out of college, like the number 2 guy in your draft class as a running back is your backup.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. And
enough said.
Do you have a player comp for him? Because I've heard a lot of people are just doing the lazy thing of just saying Jahmyr Gibbs, which is an easy, lazy way to do it.
CMC. Okay,
so
and that's the low.
CMC.
That's the low end. CMC is his low end comp.
So his high end comp is just Jeremiah Love. He's just his own entity. Okay. Do you want to hear mine?
That's where I'm at.
Very interesting one.
Okay.
I see a bigger, stronger Reggie Bush. Like a guy that's he's more of a 3-down back in terms of early down back.
Curtis Martin.
He has the Reggie Bush style.
So you're throwing Curtis Martin at me.
That could be there. Yeah, Curtis Martin didn't quite have the
there you go
that Reggie Bush has, but
there's the top end. If you really want my top end, like I'm in New York. How do I freaking forget this guy? Curtis Martin.
Okay. That's a really good one.
There's the top end comp for Jeremiah. If he could have Curtis Martin's career.
But a home run hitting version, because Curtis Martin, I'm not saying he was slow or anything, but Curtis Martin had more of that LT to his game where it was like a lot of 30-yard gains, not a lot of 60-yard gains. And Jeremiah Love is the guy that's if you play down as a safety and you miss the angle, like he's gone. Like there's just no catching him. And like he will burn you even if you have a step on him. Where Curtis Martin and LT didn't quite have that ability. They were a lot maybe more savvy as runners than he is. And he's savvy, right? He's savvy. And I go back to the run. I forget what team they were against, but the goal line run where he broke like 2 tackles and dragged 2 guys in the end zone. Like as hard as Jahmyr Gibbs does run at times when they ask him to do that, like that's just not in Jahmyr Gibbs' profile. That run in particular. No. The 212, 12, like he does play bigger at times, but I still don't think what workload do you think? Because CMC is a freak. Like he's an outlier for his size. Now he has been hurt quite a bit. But the workload he's been able to handle is like not sustainable by any other running back of that size. And Jahmyr Gibbs is the other comp in terms of body type and almost play style. And Jahmyr Gibbs has never really had that workload. Like he has the single game workloads when Montgomery's missed time, but he's never had a season, even in college, of 300 plus touches, 350 plus touches. So do you see that of like he's a guy that's going to he's going to be very efficient. He's going to have, 240 carries and 60 receptions. Or do you think there's a chance he could be a 400 touch player?
Let's go with the 330 touch option. They're drafting him to be a 3-down back as much as possible. And once the game is out of hand one way or the other, they're going to put him on the bench. They're going to give him the same type of usage that he had in college, which was, you are my offense until the game is over one way or the other. And that's pretty much it. And I think that's how it's going to go for him, because when you get drafted in the top 5, because I don't think he's escaping the top 5.
No,
I
and
don't
it's either
care.
that or, or that someone will trade up for him because he is the second best player in this draft, possibly the best player in this draft. Let's just spin this on a fantasy angle for this year. I'm going to say the Titans. I think the Titans are the most obvious landing spot with where they're drafting in the draft. Like, they need a lot of stuff, but they also want to help out Cam Ward, which this would help him out because he's not just a Derrick Henry type player. He is a pass catcher. He is a weapon, I guess is the way I'd put it. If he goes to the Titans, bottom 5 team, most likely bottom 6 team in terms of win projection, and just everything screams like they're in a rebuild, right? Currently, right now in Underdog, he's going like pick 16. He's going around Saquon, around Omarion Hampton. How would you rank him? Because I have a feeling wherever he goes, like regardless of where it is, people are just going to get enamored with the college film and the prototype that he is. He's a fantasy dream because he's a home run hitter that catches passes, and he's going to get goal.
If he goes to a day ball offense, he's not catching passes. You have to look at the OC. Unfortunately, I was stuck with this crayon-eating son of a bitch for how many years as my head coach? And then, who's the other coach? Mr. All Gas, No Brakes.
So,
no,
if it's the Titans, it's
no, I don't. Only because
what if it's Washington? What if it's Washington? Let's say it's Washington.
That would be beautiful. That would be RPOs all day. That would be unbelievable. Like, here are the landing spots for Jeremiah Love where I think it would be gangbusters and like, let's go. Number 3 to the Cardinals, where I think he could go if, they don't do the stupid thing and draft Ty Simpson outright or trade up to, the more I think about it, the more I don't think Vegas is drafting Mendoza. I'm starting to agree with Dakota. I really am. Like, I'm starting to think, the Jets have those 2 first-round picks and 1 first-rounder next year, and it makes a whole hell of a lot more sense for the Jets to make that deal because they got a whole lot of first-rounders next year too, and it really does make a whole hell of a lot of sense for the Jets to draft Mendoza this year with that offense, with their setup versus,
right. You know what's funny about that is Mendoza is such a great kid. He's going to be fine with wherever he goes. If they wait next year and they get the Arch Manning pick, right? Would it surprise you with the history of the Mannings to be like, we're not going to New York, even though New York has some pass catchers, they have Garrett Wilson, but like that's been a wasteland for quarterback prospects. And you don't want to get into that game again because you're not going to get the value for the pick when everyone knows that player doesn't want to play for that franchise.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Mendoza has a boomer bust gigantic arm. Geno Smith has a boomer bust gigantic arm. Here's the one thing that Geno does that Mendoza doesn't do. He keeps his head up and keeps looking down the field. If Geno can impart that onto Fernando Mendoza, you've got the perfect situation. I really don't think trading Geno away and then signing Kirk Cousins means you're drafting Fernando Mendoza. Those moves don't make sense.
No.
Like, the more I think about it,
you're not going to start him day one.
Yeah, and Kirk isn't the QB to teach Mendoza. Geno is more apt to be a teacher. Geno Smith is known around the league as somebody that would bring along a quarterback, teach a quarterback, help a quarterback out, help a teammate out. Like, Geno's more that guy than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he's been that guy as well in his career. So let's say Jeremiah Love goes to Washington, which you like the spot with Jaden Daniels, super efficient. Pass catching, well, I mean, you think it's better than Tennessee for pass catching, but not so much with Jaden Daniels as quarterback. Would you take him comfortably ahead of Saquon and Omarion Hampton? How would you rank those 3 guys? Because that's the range. Like, rank those 3 guys right now. If you have Jeremiah Love on the Commanders, It's Love. Let's say it's Love, Saquon, and Hampton, and in no particular order. Give me your order. You'd be comfortable in fantasy next year.
Saquon, Love, Hampton.
That's fair. That's fair. I would, man, because Hampton is just not the player that Jeremiah Love is, right? He's just not, and he also only has a half year of NFL experience. And Kamani Vidal was awesome last year. He was awesome, and he's gonna have a role, and they might even draft somebody. So, all right, we love Jeremiah Love. Let's move on to the guy that I think is a little more polarizing in Jadarian Price here. Same team. I've been screaming at the rooftops that I am way lower on this guy than consensus. Everyone has him at 2. You have him at 2. Like, no one has him lower than 3. I have him at 5 or 6. I haven't set it in stone yet, but I'm just so worried about the Roschon Johnson thing. It's literally a 1-to-1 comparison. And I like Roschon coming out of Texas. I really liked Roschon. I actually think Roschon's film was better at Texas than Jadarian Price's was. That's a concern to me. And I think that Jadarian Price is a projection. Now, he's a hell of a kick returner. That's awesome, but you don't draft a guy in the second round, possibly first round for that. It's also going to take away from his backfield usage.
Unless you're
Detroit. About the guy? Like his measurables aren't great. You know what I mean? Like he didn't test like he should have. His film is nice.
Above average.
Nice.
He's still above average speed for his size and weight, though. He's not like below average.
Really concerning for me was his 40 was 4.49, which is fine, but he's only 203. Like he looks and plays bigger. Definitely looks and plays bigger. But his 40, okay, 4.49, whatever. But his 10-yard split, 1.61, 38 percentile, which is weird because when I watch the film, I see an explosive, like a really bursty player that like hits the hole so fast, and they didn't correlate with the numbers, right? So like I'm gonna side on the film because the film is real. It's not like he was playing at Boise State, but that was really concerning to me that it was that. I thought he'd be a better 10-yard player than 40 player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the thing here's the reason I have him at 2, and it's not for the same reasons that everybody else does, right? Everybody's talking about Price as, you know what, perfect first and second down back, but we don't know if he can catch. He's never caught, he can't catch passes. We don't know what he's going to be as a pass catcher. Question. You don't know what he's going to be as a pass catcher. You've seen him have bursts in the open field, and you've seen what he does when he actually, gets out into the open field. He has burst. You're wondering about the guy's hands, right? What did he do outside of running back? Tell me. He was kick returner, and he also did a bit of punt returning too. No,
that is true. You need to have good, especially punt returning. That needs to be. You need to have a good hands to be a punt returner. That's tough to fucking catch that shit.
These right? I'm pretty sure these are hands, correct?
Those are hands.
You need these to catch a football, right? See, mine are fat, clumsy, and slow, and this is why I talk. His are able to catch footballs in the air. They're soft and supple, just like that guy. You see, he has a clip. Rob, you have a clip to show them about that.
Your hands are what makes it possible. Your shoulder pads are hard and stiff. Your hands are tender, and they can move and caress the ball. that's kind of gay, but hey.
My hands are not smooth and tender. They don't caress nothing besides. We can't talk. We can't even talk about that on YouTube.
Well, I can, but I always make a fool out of myself. I don't expect my guests to unless I put them up to it.
Anyway,
last thought. I will say this. I did like originally. I had him at 2. I had Jadarian Price at 2 when I watched his film. And I had written next to him as Nick Chubb. I was like, this guy reminds me of a less, Nick Chubb was a freak, like 4.39 guy with that size. The difference is Nick Chubb is 225 and this guy's 203 and he's slower. So like that was my first instinct when I watched the film, and I wish he was Nick Singleton size. So if he was 220, I would be a lot more about him. And I know you say you trust the hands, but I just haven't seen it in terms of real life film. Those are concerns I have. And I don't hate the kid. I'm just saying lack of production, lack of experience, not transferring to be the starter, smaller stature. That doesn't scream like this guy's a first round pick or early second round pick for me. I think it's a risky profile, and it is a weak class. So I think his upside is second best in this class. I'm not debating that, but I feel like his downside is a platoon running back whose strength is kick returning. I'm out.
Well, he's going to Detroit. He's going to Detroit. Like, I seriously think he's going to be the Detroit Lions. Don't they have like a really late second or really early third round pick? That's where he's going. They lost Khalif Raymond. They need.
The Seahawks have a glaring need, and if either the Seahawks are taking one or two guys, the Seahawks are taking Mike Washington Jr. or they're taking Jadarian Price. It's one of those two guys. They need somebody with high end capabilities that could handle the load early, because we don't know when the hell they're going to have a starting running back. We don't know. And right now, like, the other guys they have there are not awesome. I mean, I like George Money a lot.
Hey, I actually like Emmanuel Wilson.
He's a backup, though. I'm just saying, like, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. If you're relying on Emmanuel Wilson without a lot of pass game options, it's just not great. And like, Zach Charbonnet is the guy there. We all know that, but it might be week 10. They need somebody with a little more upside. And I think Mike Washington fits the player comp they like. He fits more of the Kenneth Walker size, speed, home run hitter. Jadarian Price is more of the steady guy. So they can go either way. I just don't think I don't think Price is lasting past pick 40. I really don't. And it's a mistake in my mind, because there's so many guys I like later more than him.
I wouldn't take him above pick. I wouldn't take him at pick 40. That makes no sense.
It's kind of your reflection of the running back class as a whole. Jeff says one guy I really like in the draft that didn't get a lot of receptions. That is Oscar Delp, who we both love. We didn't talk about it on our tight end class, but I talked about him with Dakota on the show, and his production is like nil at Georgia. But what he did do for me, he's a receiving tight end. Like he is 90% of Brock Bowers in terms of measurables. Is they had him blocking a lot, and he's an above average blocker. So like, for all, he's a receiving tight end, and all these other guys in this class that receiving down tight ends, they do not have any blocking chops at all, like little to none. This guy is an above average blocker, especially in the run game. So Oscar Delp is a guy that is, I don't think he's a sleep. I think he's a sleeper based on rankings and, like experts. I think in GM circles in the NFL, how they're going to value him, I think he's going to be a third round pick. So it's hard for me to call him a sleeper when I project him to go in the third round, because as much as we rip on the GMs and coaches' mouth, they do get it right sometimes, and they do understand some of these diamonds in the rough, like guys that didn't have the projections the production in college. Oscar Delp is that guy, and you dove into him, and you like him, right?
Yeah, I do, but that doesn't mean the GMs aren't going to take him above value. So Delp is going to be a day 3.
You're not like 10 and 4 though on your list, right?
Oh yeah, in terms of the career that he's going to have, definitely. But that doesn't mean that, GMs are going to take him above day 3 or above round 4. Understand, like, you know how we as fantasy managers aren't going to take people above ADP.
Right.
Hell, GMs invented that game. They're not doing it either. So if Delp drops to round 4 or like in between round 4 and round 5, don't be shocked. Just don't be shocked if he outperforms where he gets drafted.
Yeah, except for the Bears and Colson Loveland, which actually worked out. At least it appears it's going to work out, because he was a lot of people had as a borderline first round pick last year, and not only was he taken ahead of consensus, the Bears took him ahead of Tyler Warren. You know what I'm saying? And that was pick 10, right? So that was 20 picks early by what most people thought. Yeah,
except if you listen to Downtown Sports, you would have known that Colston Loveland was the man and should have gone before Tyler Warren. And when he did,
see,
I was the only person smiling.
Me and Storey were way off Colson Loveland. We take the L on that one already. Anyways, Downtown Sports, gentlemen, as Mouth mentioned, every single Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, 1 to 2 shows a week, every platform ever. They're now on YouTube, guys. Give them a listen. If you have not, I highly encourage. It's a 2-hour long show. A little more real life NFL and sports. They do NBA, they do MLB, everything and anything sports. It's where sports comes home. So give them a listen, and you won't regret it. It's a great show.
It is.
All right, let's move on to so you have Price at 2. I have him at 5. Like I said, I am not as high on Price. Let's move on to the third name here that you have on your list. It is Mr. Emmett Johnson. Now, this is what I think we could both agree on. I actually have him at 2. So I am a huge fan of Emmett Johnson. You have him at 3 out of Nebraska. He's in my mind the best pass catcher in this class, and he only has 1 year of like true starting stuff on his resume. But his junior year, he did have like 38 or 40 receptions. So like he's been a pass catcher for a while, and he finally got the full role. And he was the most productive running back in college football. The film speaks for itself, but the measurables are not good. In terms of the combine, he's 203 pounds. He's slow in terms of testing. So what do you love about Emmett Johnson before I go on a tangent about him?
You know what? The film is just so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
He can't even talk. He just loves it. He wants to marry this guy.
The football is so the footwork is so pretty. Like, you know how I love Roush's footwork? His footwork is about as good on running route.
In the vision.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the pass catching. Like, it's the 3 things we love.
Cutting, moving. Like, he's so fluid. Oh, the movements are so fluid, but they're violent at the same time. Like, he profiles like Walker. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
he profiles a lot like Kenneth Walker.
He doesn't have the home run speed. He does not have.
But he doesn't. Not yet. Not yet. That could happen. That could, speed could be acquired. Speed could be gained. Speed can be worked. Speed can look. Underwear Olympics aside, his film doesn't look. It looks like on film like he has the home run speed. His film doesn't look slow. He looks like he has enough burst on film.
Jadarian Price is essentially the same size as Emmett Johnson. And I don't hear anyone being like, well, Jadarian Price is small. I hear a lot of people saying Emmett Johnson's small. And then
that makes no sense.
Emmett Johnson comes out and runs a 4.56. Okay, I get it. It's a little slow. But Jadarian Price runs a 4.49. No one's saying that. You see like the disparity there. It's like they profile the same athletically. I think that Emmett Johnson's a little bit less in terms of an athlete. But the production and the eye test and the football IQ and all those kind of things, the footwork, the vision, it's all Emmett Johnson. It's all on Emmett Johnson's side. And like the pass catching, like you said that you think that Jadarian Price can be a good pass catcher. Well, we know Emmett Johnson's an elite
I know he is.
Day 1 NFL third down back. Day 1, I'm telling you. And the pass stuff is I give it like a C. It's average, but it can be worked on. And he's not that small. He's not a 180-pound running back. Like,
look,
Evan H.
He should be Emmanuel Wilson's third down back day 1 in Seattle. That's where he should be. Emmett Johnson should be Seattle's running back. Seattle should not waste a higher pick. Let somebody else take Mike Washington or Jonah Coleman and bust on those picks, waste high draft picks on those guys, and you could go grab Emmett Johnson and, take him a little more down the draft since he fell and have yourself a nice, happy time. That's what you should do.
So how concerned are you, and it doesn't sound like you're very concerned, but I got to ask it, how concerned are you by the combine? Because he's one of the only guys that did every single drill, which I do like and appreciate that. But like he was the only running back to do the 3-cone drill, and he's a 10 percentile in the three cone at that size, which is really alarming. Why did he do it is my question. And so the height and weight is okay. It's a little less than ideal. The 40 time 50 percentile, 10-yard split 51 percentile, 63% vertical, 3-cone, like I said, 10%, shuttle 44%, broad jump 61%, bench press 23%. Like all of these are none of them are green and none of them are really even yellow. Like these are all net negatives. So are you concerned about this at all? Or are you just going to go strictly on the film in this case?
For me, I have to go on the film only because, film don't lie. If you play football, you play football. And I saw the guy play elite football. He has elite skills. Elite skills translate.
Yeah, I agree. Where do you think he goes in the NFL draft? I think he's a firm 3rd-round pick because it's a reflection of the running back room, the running back class.
I think he could be an end of second round pick to Seattle. Like, this could be the guy Seattle takes as their I'm being safe, and this is my third down back for Emmanuel Wilson.
It's a good call because one thing that the one thing I love about Emmett Johnson is he's, I'm going to pull the Lovie Smith. He's a football player, but he is very pro ready. This dude doesn't have a lot to work on. Now, he might not have the high end. Maybe Jajarian Price is more of a high end. Maybe. I don't believe it, but maybe he does. This guy's going to come in day one. He's ready to play. Where a lot of these guys, we're going to talk about Mike Washington Jr. in particular, and some of the other guys are a lot more raw. They have a lot to work on. Footwork, vision.
Definitely.
They're raw prospects. So, like, Seattle is not in the market. They're not in the market of, like, drafting a project. They dealt with that with Kenneth Walker for how many years, and he couldn't really see the field enough. And this is a guy that can come in, and you don't have to spend the end of the first round pick. You can get him in the late second. You can get him in the mid third, and he's going to contribute. Then that's the word. Like, Seattle needs someone to contribute. Some of these teams need a guy to contribute. Now, if you're a bottom feeder team, I could see the trepidation about picking a guy like this because, like, you're not hitting a home run with Emmett Johnson. Even I don't think, as much as I love him, he's my second running back in this class. I don't see the, oh my God, you can't miss it. Like, this guy won't miss. He's going to be a Pro Bowler every year, an All Pro. Like, that's not happening. He could potentially be a starting running back in the NFL.
Yeah, he could be, but this is one of the guys that definitely could be a starting running back in the NFL. Running back in the NFL for years. But here's what I see out of this running back class. If you really want to know, I see teams that really need that last piece. That last little piece is going to get that last little piece. And each of these names that we're talking about, these are last round of your redrafts. Like, if a good team gets one of these pieces, that's your last round of your redraft.
Yeah, keep an eye on. All right.
Exactly.
I want to move on to 4. But before that, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro, and then we'll move on to our 4 through 9.
And just like Ron Jeremy would, I am going to whore out this production like a motherfucker and tell you all to sign up for the Patreon. You have to go to http://professionalfanatics.com. I want to thank all the Professional Fanatics Patreon members who are in the chat with us right now. And if you're not, well, you know what the channel is, the Patreon. What is it, Rob?
What? It's the I don't know. What is it? It's the
I don't know, bro.
It's the place to be.
Place to be.
It's what do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, Rudy. Come on. We call it the place. The place to be. Yes.
Yep, it's the place to be. Sign up. Get in that Discord, and if you get the Discord and you pay at least $5 a month, actually no, $10 a month, you get access to the bets, and those bets get you access to the money. And we print money here, gentlemen. $96.58 for the 2025 season, and that was just on prop bets. Wait till my week bets come in. Wait till Storey's college bets come in. We're going to be printing money.
Guys, we have one spot left in the dynasty as well. I mean, there's still plenty of spots in the redraft league. Those will fill up fast, and those will be in August, obviously. But I want to get all those settled way before August. But we have one spot in the dynasty startup we are doing in mid-May. So get in now if you want that last spot. It's with every single host. All the hosts are splitting teams. And currently we have nine mega super fan OG fans in there. It's now that's the league to be in.
Oh,
You're interested in an awesome Dynasty Startup League. So let me know in the chat or just hop on over there, sign up, and then we'll chat. I'll get you in there. One spot available, guys. It will go fast. And
by the way, if you want
first one.
And if you Yep, and if you want to see Rob get slizzoshed and even drunker than he already gets, you need to send in those super chats. 5 supers gets a beer and a shot.
Damn straight. I'm very consistent. Or any $20 super chat. Anyone that signs up for the Patreon during the live stream, I also do it a beer and a shot. So you can always stack
And I
it up
also
here and probably kill me.
And I take massive tokes because this is the beer and a blunt session. All smoking treats sponsored by Society House in Brooklyn.
All right, let's move on to our number 4. Your number 4, Mouth. It is Nick Singleton. He's a guy I've had an interesting relationship watching through the process. So you have him at number 4 out of Penn State. He was the number 1 running back prospect coming out of high school. And, his freshman year was elite. He kind of hasn't gotten any better is the concern, but the film is real.
Yeah.
The body type is for real. He's huge. He's fast. He's a home run hitter. And he's also a great pass catcher, Mouth.
Yep. And you know what? The fact that the idea of this kid hasn't faded away from his high school career throughout his college career, and people are still talking about the idea of this kid could still be really elite. That's good enough for me, especially with this really ho-hum drab running back class, which, as we go through it, actually now this is what the third legitimate running back that could probably start day one. He's not raw. He's played in offenses with Tyler Warren attached to them.
Scored a lot of touchdowns, a ton of touchdowns every single year. And the worry is
Fended off Creighton Allen.
His film, man, I feel like he leaves a lot on the table, and he leaves me wanting more. But I want to give you something that kind of, I've been rising him up my board. I think I have him at consensus about 4, but I had him way lower. And then Storey talked him up. I revisited. I went back and watched his freshman film instead of just the recent stuff, and he was better as a freshman. Now you could take that either way and be a little concerned with that. I am not, because the offense kind of hit a wall there as well. So it's not just on him. But the way I do these things, I'm not a big college football fan. The way I do these evaluations to start out is I have my wife write down all the top 25 running backs, for instance, in a random order. And I don't, outside of like Jeremiah Love, I don't know a lot of these guys. And I just watch it with a blank slate. I have no idea how big they are, what their testing numbers might be, what the production is, any of that shit. And I write down just a couple notes my first watch, like first thing that comes to mind. I give them a grade, and I guess their size, right? And what I love, this is what I have written down. Where's he at? I guess that he was 5'10", 200. And
wow.
Not because he wasn't powerful, because the way he moves and the speed. And then I go and then I look, he's 6 foot 220. And like that should say it all right there, that I thought this guy was a smaller running back just based on how he moved. Because it's hard to tell their size, relative to the other guy, the other people on the field. And he doesn't really look that big, but he clearly is that big. And like that alone tells me that like not many guys that are 220. I don't want to say Saquon, because Saquon's 230 and Saquon's obviously more elite, but like that's the realm of stuff I'm talking about. A guy that has this size and this home run hitting ability. Now he didn't test at the combine. This is why Nick Singleton's going to be the ultimate steal for somebody, because he broke his foot at the Senior Bowl. So dude had, he didn't test at all. And he was a guy, whether you take this let it it's good or it's bad, he was a guy that was going to blow up the combine. Like we think Mike Washington improved his stock, which he did, because Mike Washington's film isn't really that great, but his size, speed stuff is. Singleton has better film than Mike Washington. He would have had I don't think he would have ran a 4.33. I think he would have been about a 4.38, 4.39 guy. But he is almost as big, almost as fast, but he's got more agility, and he's definitely a better pass catcher. He's not as rigid. So like
Singleton, I'm going to say this. If Singleton would have tested at the combine, there would have been conversations between him and Love. Like, they wouldn't have been legitimate. I mean, I would have told everybody that they were crazy, but there would have been conversations about it. People would have started saying things like, who's really better, Love or Singleton? So, this is why I have him as high as I have him on the draft board. But the one thing, like you said, the fact that Creighton Allen is a name that is on this list, and actually if we can go next, because I think both of these backs' stories intertwine with each other. And there's a reason I have them ranked 4 and 5 together, because I think their stories intertwine with each other. It's impossible to not talk about one without talking about the other. And in a way, you kind of got to rank them together because he's a completely different kind of back than just about any other back we've spoken about so far. I think Kaytron Allen is the first, hybrid fullback, halfback in this draft. But here's the kicker with him. The one thing that people really don't talk about with him is pass catching, right? Nobody talks about his ability to catch a football. He only caught about 16 passes in his senior year, correct? Well, I think I saw about every one of those catches in his highlight reel. Each one of those were in difficult situations where the quarterback was in trouble and he was pretty much surrounded by enemy jerseys. So he wasn't like a safety valve. He was a oh shit button. And, if he has value as an oh shit button, perhaps, he might have a little more value than you think. And every one of those catches were in situations where his quarterback was in dire trouble and he needed to catch a football. And generally, he was coming off of a block to do it. So that, to me, screams third down back, goal line back. What team do you know of right now that could use a third down and a goal line back all wrapped up in one package? I think we mentioned this a couple days ago.
The Commanders?
Mm-hmm.
They need everything. Yeah, they need everything. Oh, look at me. I hit it. Hey,
well, not just that, but I think that was a good spot for him. That's actually not a bad idea.
Jonathan with a good comment here. This is kind of what we were talking about. He said it would have been like a Simpson versus Mendoza type conversation if Singleton would have tested. So yeah, he wouldn't have been, it's like Simpson, unless the only person in the world that thinks that Mendoza and Simpson's a conversation or that Simpson's better than Mendoza is Dan Orlovsky. That's the only person in the world. He's on record saying that. But other than that, like you people that have him in the same, grouping or same tier, same grades, they always put Mendoza over him. By the way, also shout out Jonathan, who is going to be in the Dynasty League. He's a fanatic. We love you, Jonathan. Upgraded to become a fanatic to play in the Dynasty, and we appreciate that. I'm going to whoop your ass, and maybe Mouth will. I don't know about Mouth. I can't speak for Mouth, but Mouth and Beast.
What? What Dynasty? Oh, you mean my ATM?
Ah, nice.
My ATM. Mouth's ATM. The Dynasty. Yeah. You've been.
I don't know. I think this is what I'm going to do to people in the Dynasty.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Those best balls that we've been in together are any indication, Rob, I think you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, because my teams are such shit. You guys are really hard on the grades on my teams because at least I know Dakota is. He's always like a C minus.
Okay, that's Dakota. I actually am extremely fair with my opinions.
Yeah, you are.
But then again, right, I'm a damn novice when it comes to when it comes to it. Like I'm literally learning as I go.
You were a novice. Now you're. I wouldn't say you're a veteran yet, but you're rising up.
Yeah, I am rising. Well, no, we'll see if I end up like doing like one of these bird fantasy people and like winning $840,000. I promise I'll do some. Weird version of the gritty for the channel, okay? I'll do the gritty with my shirt off if I win like, $300,000 on best balls, okay?
I'm holding you to that. So I am not as high on I'm actually like low on Kaytron Allen. He's running back 9 for me. Rough running back 9. I don't like him. I just don't see the first thing I wrote down going back to my initial watch was not special. And that doesn't mean that he is doomed. I'm just saying he's not special. He's
definitely
slow.
not.
He's actually not that big. He's 216 pounds.
plays bigger than that.
No creativity. Yeah, but no creativity
No.
with his feet. He doesn't make people miss. The passing
You're
game
right.
stuff, projection. Like, I think he's a safe play. Like, I think that he has a high floor, and his experience in college, like, lends himself. Like, if the Seahawks took him, I would not feel terrible about them giving him 10 to 12 touches a game until Zach Charbonnet came back. But he is like an Emmett Johnson. Like I said, he's kind of a little bit of a project, a little bit of a low end upside player. But Emmett Johnson has a 3-down skill set this guy doesn't have. He's a 2-down player. Ooh, you mean ass to mouth? Gonna be a fun league. You got to copyright that one, dude. Ass to mouth.
Yes. The dollar signs. I guess the A is a new cryptocurrency, and then $2 So you're gonna turn it from the A cryptocurrency. That I guess that's whatever you're using to put money into the fantasy league, and then you're gonna turn it into dollars to mouth. Yes. I take any form of currency as long as it can be transferred into US dollars and be put into my account. Wonderful.
So you like Katron Allen? Is it just the safety that he offers in the 3rd or 4th round or wherever we think he's going to go, or do you see some upside
like I said,
a 3-down back?
I don't see any upside of him being a 3-down back. I think he's going to be a 4th or 5th round pick that's going to have a long career as a RB2 in this league. He's going to be a goal line back for a team that is starving for a goal line back. In fact, I think, this was the team that I mentioned the other day in the chat, the Bengals.
Ooh,
this was the perfect 5th round pick for the Bengals. Chase Brown can't do shit at the goal line. And Katron Allen could also get Burrow out of trouble on 3rd down. He could block. Chase Brown can't do that. And he fits everything that the Bengals happen to need in a 3rd down back. If you could just see what he has for hands, and I'm sure Zach Taylor could figure that out.
All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. That's a good spot, but I don't like the player. Let's move on to number 6. This is a late addition for you, a guy you just dove into. A guy I was really high on originally, and then the more I dove in, the more I read about, the more I watched, I have soured. It's Damon Claiborne out of Wake Forest. And then also talking to Storey, who this guy was on Storey's hate list. Damon Claiborne was on that list. So I do tend to side with Storey on a lot. No, I don't side with him on everything, obviously. He loves Carnell Tate, and I hate Carnell Tate. And he hates Emmett Johnson. I love Emmett Johnson. But in this case, Damon Claiborne he's small. He is, let's see here. He is 5'10", 188. He's fast, 4.37, and you seem to think of him as a 3rd down back. I don't, because his average depth of target was all dumped down, so there's nothing outside of that. I'm saying he couldn't work on that, and his 40 time was fast, but his play speed in terms of breakaway stuff, he runs out of gas, dude, and he gets caught from behind, which is at that size is a little alarming. And I think a lot of people. What do you got? Sorry.
That to me is motor. That to me is, get in the training room and, work your ass off. You're in the NFL now. And, time to put your big boy pants on. You're earning millions of dollars now. And, if you want to make football your living, you're going to go in and improve your endurance, and you're going to figure out how to hold your breath while you're running. So I'm going to assume that the player is going to put in the necessary work to fulfill the projection. You have to. I can't go into projecting a player and assuming character flaw. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I get that.
Everything that we're talking about with Claiborne is all character flaw shit. And if we start analyzing character flaw, we could go into at least 4 of the players on this list and kick them off.
My thing is how many guys this size have actual upside to be 3-down backs? And I can give you a couple off the top of my head. Warwick Dunn was one that was 180 pounds that had a hell of a career. And then Devin Achane, who, has somehow staved off the injury bug recently. And
because
he got banged up. He put on weight.
Yeah, he gained 15 pounds, and which is also what I'm assuming Damon Claiborne is going to do. He's going to gain 15 pounds. He's going to put on some muscle, and muscle's going to give him endurance, which is going to help him not to lose wind when he's running down the football field, which will help him actually gain speed, if you could imagine.
I don't like Jonah Coleman, but like I can't rank Claiborne ahead of Jonah Coleman because he's a grown man, and Claiborne is. The volume he got in college is just unreal. I just don't understand. The system's really friendly for running backs, and I just don't see it in the NFL. And like the role, a lot of these sites are listing him as a workhorse running back because of what he did in college, and like he is not that. And my concern, like I said, is his pass catching, and you seem to be more warm on that than I am. But like if I am questioning the guy, this tiny player's pass catching prowess, well, I know he's not a good pass blocker, so that's going to keep him off the field possibly in certain teams and third downs. Like, what is he offering? What is he offering besides being like a Keaton Mitchell, which is a fine player, but Keaton Mitchell can't see the field because Keaton Mitchell, A, can't stay healthy. B, he can't catch the ball out of the backfield efficiently. And like, so what is he really offering? You can't pass block either. So it's like Keaton Mitchell's a specialist. And I think Damon Claiborne's a specialist. And there's a million of those guys in my mind. And I just don't see the place for him. I'm just not on him.
Well, I hear you. The only issue I have is like, you know what? He's a good one-cut runner. I like what he does in the interior of the line. He bursts through the hole. I like what I seriously do like what he does in the interior of the line and the way he cuts through holes. But the issues you have are very sound. They're very true. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just, I did like his tape a little better than Seth McGowan's tape. I don't like the fact that he disappeared, that Claiborne disappeared for a few games. It's just, I could see where if he gains 10 pounds and, gets some decent coaching, he could be better than what Seth McGowan's top ability can be. I'm ranking projection there.
Speaking of Seth McGowan, here you are with your number 7. He's a little higher on my list. I think I have Seth McGowan around 6, so not too much higher than you. But the difference between these two guys is, I will say this: Seth McGowan's more raw. Obviously, if you know his story, went to jail, had to go to JUCO, and then built all the way back to play to Kentucky. So he is not he's an older running back, which is concerning. But like for how old he is raw, which is not. Those are not two things we like. But Seth McGowan's 6'2", 223, and his testing numbers 4.49 at the 40. That's really goddamn good for the size. 42.5 vertical, which is 100%. I know that doesn't really translate to running backs, but explosiveness wise, vertical 100 percentile, broad jump 99 percentile. Dude is a literally a go type player. This guy has an engine and a motor. He hits the hole probably better than anyone in this draft. Like he just hits it. He does not. He needs to work on some patience, honestly, but I feel like that could be worked on. At least it's not like remember Cedric Benson, how he would always just. Cedric Benson was 225. He's just tiptoeing through the hole. Like, and not even like Le'Veon Bell, which was good patience. This was bad patience. Like Seth McGowan.
This guy is just running into everything full bore, full speed ahead. The one thing you get with Seth McGowan is a guy that understands the opportunity he's received. And any team that drafts this kid is going to receive a player that understands that he is not messing around and he has a whole second chance at life. Forget just the NFL. Man. He has a whole second chance at life. So any team that drafts Seth McGowan is going to this is like, would I draft him above the 4th round? No. Would I draft him to my organization? Yes. If I'm any team, I'm looking to put him on my team.
I have the issues I have with the guys that have character concerns are the guys that get away with it, that there's a lot of smoke and there's no repercussions. Like this is quite the opposite. Seth McGowan, yes, it was armed robbery. Okay. But he didn't get away with it. He served jail time and he got a second chance and he made the most of it. And like, I go back to Joe Mixon, now he didn't go to jail, but like the whole thing that happened with Joe Mixon in Oklahoma punching that chick, like it was awful. It looked bad. But you know what Joe Mixon has done since he came in the NFL? He's kept his nose clean because he understands that like he had that stigma about him and he knew that he was already a guy that kind of had some red flags, and he couldn't afford to make another mistake. And Joe Mixon, it was a higher draft capital than this guy will be. But it's funny that like some teams may see Seth McGowan and, be like, well, he had to transfer. He went to jail, whatever. Like he's a character issue guy. I see it the same as you. I think it's quite the opposite. I think this is a high character guy because he's the dude that's going to put the work in. He's the dude that's going to understand that like he shouldn't even be here. Right. Like when all that happened and he was going to junior college, he went to New Mexico State. NFL was so far off this dude's radar, and he worked his ass off to get here. And
that's right.
Again, we're not in this kid's head, but I would guess that he's going to continue to work his ass off more than the next guy.
And let me tell you, because I've known plenty of people who've been to jail, who have come back from jail, and who went back to jail because they can't get the mindset and the mentality of doing the behaviors that put them in jail out of their head. Obviously, this is not one of these people. I've also known people that have went to jail, turned their lives around in jail, got college degrees in jail, and have turned their lives completely around. This is the type of story that, this sounds like, and Seth McGowan is going to be one of these kids that turns around an entire locker room, because not only does he not accept this kind of bullshit from himself, he's not going to accept it from his teammates. So if he sees any of his teammates starting to engage in some dumb shit, he's going to stop it himself. He's not going to accept it. He's going to take a leadership role immediately and say, hey, no. We don't do this. I don't care if this is what happened to this kind of in this locker room before. Not while I'm here. Fuck that. Obviously they drafted me because they needed somebody to put a stop to this shit, and he's going to take that kind of responsibility, because he knows if he's getting put into a locker room, he knows that his story is part of the reason he's being drafted in the first place. So he has to understand the capital that brings with him, all of it. Like, it isn't just your play that gets you drafted. It's your story. It's your background. It's everything that brought you to the NFL draft, not just your play on the field. There's plenty of great football players that will never see the NFL. I guarantee, I bet you there's probably quarterbacks in D2 and D3 that are like a million times better than the QBs that we see in the NFL that will never know their name, only because they just happen to not be in a D1 school.
Yeah, I got a couple of player comps that are interesting. I want to hear what you think. So the number one that's more recent is Isaiah Pacheco.
I've seen that a lot.
Right? Like a lot bigger, because Pacheco is 200 pounds. And, I don't think he'd ever came back from that injury. I think he's never been the same player. But early Pacheco was really good as a 7th round pick. Like he out of Rutgers, he was great. And I don't know if it was, and the biggest problem with Pacheco is he runs and plays like he's 230, but he's 200. But Seth McGowan actually is 225 pounds. So like the concerns I have about Pacheco, the longevity stuff and just his play style, I don't have those same concerns with McGowan. And Pacheco is a go guy, right? A guy that just doesn't stop, and he almost needs to take a step back. The other comp, this one's interesting. Stylistically, I see a lot of Philip Lindsay, which is also a weird one because Philip Lindsay was 190 pounds, but Philip Lindsay was a fucking bear, dude. Like that dude he played way bigger, and just the style of runner he was, and just the like 100% all the time, the way he cuts, little stiff, but like Philip Lindsay was a really good running back for a long time, and he was way smaller than this guy. So the fact he's 6 foot 223, like the tools are there. And this is the guy that's like, you would think his draft stock would go up equally to Mike Washington with what Mike Washington did. Now, Mike Washington was a little bit more elite in terms of the combine, but this guy also at his weight was like very elite. We don't see this kind of stuff very often.
No. If you look at the film on the kid, you know what it compares to if you look at his film? Everyone's favorite crayon eater, except a little more refined.
Scatterbo?
He
not as powerful.
Runs that, not as, but in different ways. Like he slips through the hole a little more, but I've seen him barrel through and carry people. Scatterbo looks like he's working harder, but like, since McGowan's just bigger, it looks easier for him to just carry people.
How big is Scatterbo? 210?
Yeah.
God, isn't that he's shorter, but isn't that crazy that we all think Scatterbo is like this big, giant 230-pound bruiser, but he's actually not.
This could be another back for the Giants to look at because they're really concerned about their running back position with the injury that happened to Scatterbo.
And draft capital doesn't lie. I know it's like gets thrown out the window with some of these guys like St. Brown when they become all pros. But Scatterbo, 4th round pick. Tyrone Tracy, converted wide receiver out of Purdue, 5th round pick. Like, they don't have a lot invested in these guys. So it's a lot easier to bring another guy in the mix. And like, let's say a perfect thing would be another 4th round pick. It's like, hey, guess what? Best player went out. Scatterbo is going to definitely have his goal line role. But we also can't put too much on Scatterbo's plate. Like, he's coming off a major injury, and he's going to one of the issues in terms of character flaw with Scatterbo is he just doesn't know when to say no. Right?
That's right.
Like, Josh Jacobs has been struggling this for years. Like, Josh Jacobs refuses to miss games when it's like Josh Jacobs should probably miss games. Like, when he's hurt, sit your ass down, get healthy. What's best for the team is you not playing. But Josh Jacobs doesn't see it like that. And, sometimes like the coaches need to just tell the player what's up. But
yep,
Josh Jacobs refuses to acknowledge coaching or opinions of trainers.
And I'll give an unpopular opinion in New York City. Tyrone Tracy is a better back than Cam Scatterbo. And to me, if you could move off of him, trade him while the hype is still high, get as much as you can for Captain Crayon, you do it. Because Tyrone Tracy is the better back. He just is. He has better ball skills.
I think that Cam is a more fun back. And in the fantasy community, which most of us play, and in the sports talk stuff and all that, and the fans who are mostly morons, season ticket holders, Cam Scatterbo, you see him taking his shirt off, he going in WWE, like those kind of things. He's the everyman people love. And not to play the race card, he's white. Like, people love that story, and they love who Cam Scatterbo is. And not to say Cam Scatterbo's a bad running back, right? Like, he is.
No, he's not.
Somehow, I think he's a better receiver than Tyrone Tracy in terms of like the check down game, even though Tracy's a converted wide receiver. But as a runner, man, I'm really impressed with Tyrone Tracy. I love Tyrone Tracy. The fumbling problem's an issue, but it wasn't an issue last year, just his rookie year.
Tyrone Tracy is the only running back in Giants history in his first 2 years from being a rookie until, year 2. Now we're going into year 3. His first 2 years having combined from scrimmage over 1,000 yards. The first running back in Giants history to do this. Not Rodney Hampton, not Tiki Barber, not any of them. The only one in Giants history to do it is Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, well, Saquon got hurt. Hetzer, Singletary is still on the Giants. I bring up an interesting point. I want to bring this up about Emmett Johnson real quick to go all the way back. That's my low-end comp for Emmett Johnson. Do you see that? Not a bad comp for a low end. Like, he's just because
not at all.
Singletary had than Devin Singletary. A lot of good years in Buffalo,
and a lot of good years in the NFL. How many years has Devin Singletary been in the league? What,
6?
8, 9?
No, I think it's 6. But that's 6 seems like 8 or 9 for a running back this day and age. You know what I mean?
Feels like it. Yeah, it feels like 8 or 9 years for Devin Singletary.
Yeah, Singletary will probably get cut though if they do draft anyone in the top 5 rounds, just because you don't carry 4 running backs, and he'll have a landing spot. Let's move on to, so again, we like Seth McGowan. So Seth McGowan consensus, you had him at you had him at
7.
Is that right? 7. Draft Buzz has him at 9, and then ESPN has Seth McGowan at 13. So we both like him. We both like him more than consensus. And I feel like he's a player in the later rounds. If you're searching for upside in a running back class that doesn't really offer a lot of that in terms of explosiveness and measurables and stuff, Seth McGowan's your guy.
Yeah, but just to let you all know now, okay, I'm gonna give this class is a C class, okay, but the thing is, each one of these names, right? I don't think there is a name that we're talking about that might not have an effect on your redraft leagues next year. Maybe not Claiborne, maybe not Jadarian Price. I think those are the 2 names that you might not see affecting your redraft leagues. Maybe Seth McGowan. Those three. Every other name on that list that I have right there is going to affect your redraft leagues.
Agreed. Number 8 for you, Mouth. Mike Washington out of Arkansas. Now, DraftBuzz has him at 3. Everyone has him 3 or 4 or 5 at the latest. And you are really, you hate Mike Washington. So
I do. His film
before
is
I get
bad.
to your spiel, I want to give you my Mike Washington experience, because I first watched this kid, and when I first did all this process stuff, well before the combine, and he was a nobody, right? And Storey has been watching this kid and all these kids forever. And I did my evaluation. I was like, this guy has something, and I was projecting like a 5th round pick. I was like, this guy has something. I really do believe that Mike Washington is that unique. This is before all the measurables. I was like, this guy's going to test really well. He's huge. He's fast. Something to work with here. And then the combine happened, and he went from a 5th round pick to a 2nd round pick. And it's like, now I feel like I'm lower on Mike Washington, and I have Mike Washington in that 3-4 range. So I'm actually kind of at consensus, but I had him there before the measurable, because I knew that's how he was going to test. Like, I'm not ever moving somebody up more than a round. Like, that sounds crazy based on a combine. And that's exactly what happened with Mike Washington. So it's kind of leaving me a little bit worried, because that's only part of it.
had him
Instincts and all those things matter.
Yeah,
Agility,
I had him higher. I had him higher in the process, and then the combine, and then I rewatched his film, and I really deep dived into this like I promised you I would. And the more I deep dive, the more I just know. The more Singleton moved up my board, and the more Mike Washington moved down it, because there's just certain things that, running backs raw, but you could teach them not to. And then there's other things that Mike Washington does that makes me believe he's more of like a hybrid Debo Samuel type than he is an actual running back. Like, he's what I was afraid Tyrone Tracy was going to become. I think Mike Washington is like, his low end comp is Tyrone Tracy, which wouldn't be bad.
Without the receiving ability, though.
No. And I think he has less receiving ability than Tyrone Tracy, which is bad. If you have less receiving ability than Tyrone Tracy, you're not long for the league. And that's why I put him down, because I really don't think Mike Washington is getting past his first rookie contract. I really don't.
You're not
think
putting any
he's
stock
getting...
into the elite size speed stuff, which does play. And my comp for him is Raheem Mostert, and that's a guy that has had a pretty rocky career, and that's mostly because of injuries.
Yeah, that's his
Raheem
high end
Mostert
comp.
did have an all-time epic, and I repeat, all-time epic year there with the Dolphins, and it was 20 touchdowns, right? 18 touchdowns. It was some crazy number.
Yeah, but didn't he also have at least 1 or 2 epic years with the Niners as well?
In terms of like efficiency and like, yards per touch and touchdowns per touch, stuff like that. But he was never really the full-time guy, because he always got hurt. So it was like a good 5-week stretch, and he get hurt.
Yeah, so here's where Mike Washington, to me, like, really he just screams to me bust. He screams to me, I'm going to draft you too high, put way too much on you, kill your confidence before you even have a chance to develop as an NFL player, and have you booted out the league way before you even have a chance to learn. Like, that's what this seems like to me. Mike Washington could be physically gifted and have all the talent in the world, but you're going to end up in the A7FL 7-on-7 football league called by my boy Matt Ryan. Shouts to them, by the way. You're going to end up over there because you're going to have too much put on you too soon and end up out of the league because you're not ready. All because you had a great underwear Olympics going.
I know you're going to hate this. I still have him ahead of Price, so you have it too. just because the upside of Mike Washington is a game wrecker, is a guy that these NFL teams and these GMs and these coaches are going to salivate over, because you don't see a guy 6'1", 223 that ran a 4.33. And his film isn't great, but the speed does show up on film. Like when he does break in the open field, like he does not look like a guy that weighs 223. And we said the same thing about Seth McGowan, same thing about Singleton. It's just the hips. It's very stiff. The feet aren't great. And the pass catching is he's good with the ball in his hands after. It was actually better than I thought it would be with his size. So I think you have something to work with there. But pass blocking, it doesn't check a mark there. Like, I do like this for Seattle. I just don't like it in the first round. I don't like it in the early second round. Like, I like him in the third round. I think he's a very good. He's a worthwhile shot in the third round, because 223 and that speed does not come around ever. This is almost DK Metcalf level freakness. Almost.
To me, this is like, how do I put this? Do you remember what good running backs used to look like in measurables, like in the mid 2000s, late 2000s? They used to look like this, where they were running 4.5s.
Yeah, because it didn't matter.
None of that crap mattered.
Production and film mattered. Mostly production mattered, right? It was like this guy, Ricky Williams, is the perfect example of a guy that just was like, and the problem was, like, he had so much usage in college that he was worn down by the time he got to the NFL, and it was like he played 3 years in the NFL because all the touches at Texas. And that's an example of a guy that, like, I don't know what Ricky Williams testing was. It was probably pretty good, but he should have never been a top 10 pick. He should never had a whole draft traded for him. And that's a whole different conversation of Mike Ditka literally smoking crack or whatever the hell he was doing. Like
a giggity goo.
But no one cared about measurables. It was literally just, this guy had 340 carries, and and like Herschel Walker, for instance, which was an example of it working, right? Was, this is just the guy. He's just the guy. Look at his college production. We're so far past that, because we understand that what you see on film is hard to evaluate. Numbers are hard to evaluate in college. We're drafting guys for a specific mold. Can they fit the system? Are they NFL caliber players? And what can we do with this kid? Not what they've done. It's what can we do with him, which I do agree with, but it's the tables have turned a little bit too much. The scales have tipped too much on this guy ran this number, right? This guy is 230 pounds and he's really fast. Like that's great and all, but like, what else does he give you? And is he savvy, right? Does he understand football?
And do you know what? Too many of the scouts are starting to examine things like fantasy managers are examining things, which, and great. Matt Harmon is wonderful. I love Matt Harmon. I love the way he looks up stuff. I love the way he examines stuff. I love the way PFF and all these guys examine stuff. But that is not the end all and be all of the running back position. The running back position specifically, to me, when you're talking about generating explosives and, yak ability and all this other shit, like at the running back position, the only thing I want to know about is, after contact, are you still running? And can you still have burst after somebody hits you? Those
how quickly do you get up to that, not max speed, but how quickly do you get up to playing speed after you're slowed down, or after you have to move off your mark, kind of thing? And some of these guys have it. Now, Mike Washington's a guy that doesn't really have that yet. And back to your point about, the combine not mattering, and, there's a lot of other things, intangibles matter, intelligence matters, and Christian McCaffrey is the perfect example. And this is kind of why I want to push back on your Jeremiah Love, Christian McCaffrey comp, because Christian McCaffrey is an example that has gotten every single ounce out of that body, out of that frame, out of that ability. Because Christian McCaffrey is one of the smartest football players in the NFL, and he just happens to play running back. And that's actually a position that doesn't really need to be smart, right? Like, that's a position you can be an idiot. You could be a Derrick Rose and be an effective running back. Adrian Peterson's example. I'm not saying Adrian Peterson's a moron, but like he wasn't great because he was savvy. Adrian Peterson was great because he's Adrian Peterson. He's going to run you over. He's going to run around you. He's going to hurdle you. He's going to do all of these things.
And he knows a lot about.
Peter, you're more excited than Adrian Peterson at an arboretum.
Daddy, what kind of tree is that?
Man, I want to beat you with so many things around here.
He's a very ardent botanist. He knows a lot about switches and different types of wood and how to use it and how to craft them into different sorts of implement.
He's a man that also enjoys a good belt. You know what I mean? He always has all the you're wondering why his wardrobe and his closet has all these different belts. It's not because he wears a belt, it's because he uses it for other purposes. Sorry, AP, we had to do it. But McCaffrey got everything out of that ability. And I don't know if Jeremiah Love will is the thing. That's why I don't like that comp as much, because Christian McCaffrey's so smart. Like the option route is like not a thing a lot of running backs do. That's a tight end thing. Like Christian McCaffrey is the master of it. He's essentially Travis Kelce. You know, like how Kelce and Mahomes have that crazy connection. People are always like, how is Travis Kelce open? How is no one guarding him? It's because the defense is playing zone, and he is smart enough to find the spot in the zone. Christian McCaffrey is that level of talent. And I do love Jeremiah Love, the kid. I think that he's on, it's not that he's not going to try to do that. I just don't know if he's capable. So I think any comp to McCaffrey, because I've on this show been pretty hard on McCaffrey's athleticism. And he was, as a rookie, he was pretty athletic, but he was never a tier athlete. You know what I mean? Like he was good enough.
Not at all.
And now he's like a D tier athlete, bro, but he's still balling because, especially for fantasy, because of PPR stuff, but he's 3.8 yards a carry. And like, I know yards per carry is kind of garbage, but in this case, the yards per carry tell the tale of the athlete, because another running back would average 4.5, but that's not why you have Christian McCaffrey as your starting running back. It's because he's going to handle the workload, consistency, and then when you need him to, he's going to have a 20-yard reception for a touchdown when other guys are not going to be in that spot.
That's right. And here's the other part is when McCaffrey's getting contacted behind the line of scrimmage, he's still getting 3.8 yards per carry. So that should tell you about the athlete that is Christian McCaffrey either way. That's first. Second off, what school did Christian McCaffrey go to?
Stanford.
Yeah, very smart. What school Jeremiah Love went to in Notre Dame?
Pretty smart, apparently.
They don't. Pretty smart cookie to get in there. The Catholics don't give a damn. You got to pass all your classes. You cannot play football if you do not pass. Notre Dame is not one of those schools that just where the classroom is collecting dust and they have spiders in the library crawling all over the books, and it's like beware all ye who enter here. No, you have to pass in order to play. And by the way, that's another reason why I like Jadarian. Both smart kids. I'm pretty sure they can pick up on whatever coaching they get.
So you're out on Mike Washington. You're out on where he's being ranked. You're not buying. Is there any what percentage sliver of hope that the measurables can translate into what I think these GMs are hoping is a better version of Raheem Mostert? Is it not zero?
I hate the way there are so many ways I hate. So many ways.
I got it.
I hate the way you talk to me and the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate it when you stare. I hate your big dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind. I hate you so much it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme.
Yeah.
Mao's the only co-host that actually sets me up for cutaways, because you watch so much of the show and you know all the cutaways. So yeah, and there's a lot to choose from. I'm pretty quick at him. So yeah, you're out on Mike Washington. He's out. I'm in still, but I am at consensus at best, which this was one of my guys. Me and Storey loved him pre-combine. He was our guy. And I'm just not about to push him up any higher. I actually put him down a little bit just because I'm alarmed by, the profile a little bit.
The things that I'm alarmed by that really have me out are the same things that are kind of ringing the bell for you a little bit, right?
I just know the NFL is going to value, and I also am going to factor in draft capital, what's perceived draft capital, that I know that size speed does play. And if you get him in the right system, if he goes to Kyle Shanahan, if this dude goes to Kyle Shanahan and becomes CMC's backup, and then the heir apparent, right, in year 2, year 3, you're going to look really dumb because like usually running back fits don't matter as much as, quarterback fits or wide receiver fits, or in terms of what wide receiver the quarterback's tied to. This Kyle Shanahan will make this guy. He'll make everyone good. He'll make this guy a fucking star because he loves the style, one-cut runner.
Hey, look, how many guys on ESPN's little top 10 list didn't even make my list? He's on my list. Mike Washington is on my list. How many people in ESPN's little shit list didn't even make my list?
Well,
he's there. Mike Washington made my list. At least he's there.
Moss. Yeah, you're right. Adam Randall should have made your
there.
list. We'll talk about him at the very end. You missed on that.
Yeah, he should have. Maybe. And I was debating it, but, I had to put Jonah Coleman there. I had to.
Well, here he is. Let's get to Jonah Coleman, your guy you hate the most.
I do hate him. I like Adam Randall better than I like Jonah Coleman, but I also have to acknowledge reality and sense. Just like I like Adam Randall better than I like Mike Washington, but I also have to acknowledge reality and sense. Therefore, Adam Randall cannot be on this list. Because I don't think Adam Randall's going to have a legitimate NFL career. I can only put people on my list that I think will be in the NFL past their rookie contracts, or at least have a shot at being in the NFL past their rookie contracts. And these are the only 9 names I could come up with.
Jonah Coleman will have a role. I mean, he's 5'8", 220, so that's a monster. That is a monster of a man, and that's what I wrote down when I initially watched him. I was like, monster. I have so I predicted he was going to be 5'9", 215. He's 5'8", 220, so I mean that fits the mold there. Surprisingly, actually has decent hands, but it wasn't asked to do anything. So I think in the NFL level, he's not going to ever be on the field at third down. So that's going to be kind of a moot point. He's an early down banger. This is another guy that I think could fit with Cincinnati. Right, but the problem is he's gonna require higher draft capital than Kaytron Allen.
Yeah,
I do have him ahead of Kaytron Allen because I don't like Kaytron Allen, and I think I know Jonah Coleman's a true beast. He's slow. He is slow. His footwork is god awful, and he just runs through people. And unfortunately, that plays in college a lot better than the NFL. Like Derrick Henry can do it, Marshawn Lynch could do it. Can Jonah Coleman do it? That's the question mouth.
Kaytron Allen's footwork is better than Jonah Coleman's.
That's bad, though, because Kaytron Allen's footwork's bad, too. But that just shows how bad Jonah Coleman's footwork is.
Yeah. His footwork is better than Jonah Coleman's. His ability to break tackles is better than Jonah Coleman's, because if you look at that Penn State O-line, it's complete shit. That's why I think Kaytron Allen is perfect for the Bengals, because, well, shitty O-line, bruiser running back to run behind a shit O-line with a supposedly good quarterback with a fireball of an arm. That is literally Kaytron Allen's profile to a damn T, which is why I think he fits in Cincy better than Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman, to me, belongs more on a team that needs a bruising back, like I'd say more like a Lions, because Pacheco is just not it. Because Price is basically going to be the backup to Gibbs and your punt returner and your kick returner. Maybe the guy to spell Gibbs here and there. Your running game is going to be completely different in Detroit. Maybe this is the person that the Commanders pick up to be the goal line back, because they have no one to serve that role right now. But, I just don't like him. Like,
yeah, it's been
but
pretty apparent.
I
You
think
hate
he's
him. You
going
actually
to
down or hate
be.
him.
But I'm gonna be honest. I think he's going to have a career beyond his rookie contract. Like a team will pick him up, a team will use him, and he does have the potential if he can actually stay healthy and develop his top end speed a little bit, because that can happen if maybe sheds 3 pounds and goes, instead of being 220 to 217, because I think 220 is being generous. He's probably more like, because nobody wants to say that they're 5'8" and 230,
Yeah.
because that's what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If he actually becomes 5'8" and 220, I think he'll be fine. But somebody needs to make sure he stays that way and stays his playing weight. Like, did he not look bigger than that to you?
He looks a lot bigger, but 5'8" is pretty goddamn short, That's an issue.
I mean, does he really have to see over the O&D line if his job is to point his shoulders at the knees?
Did you so his pass pro was like concerning to me, even though like he should be awesome at it, and I see a lot of reports saying he's a good pass protector. I didn't like it. I didn't like the technique. I didn't like the technique.
No. He falls over too much to be effective on third down.
I'm going on what I saw the write-ups on. Like people were saying, like I think they were just like being lazy and being like, well, he's 220, he can be a good pass pro guy.
No.
I'm just saying I didn't see it on film.
I didn't. I saw him in game situations get knocked over where Katron Allen did not. I actually saw Katron Allen, hold the line. This is why I have him higher. I think everybody has it reversed. Like I
hate both
don't
these guys. I really do. I hate him and Allen. I don't want anything. In the NFL is moving in a different direction. I know like running the ball is more important now, and it's getting more ground and pound. But it's more with hybrid players, not guys like this. So,
but the fullback is making a return.
But he's not a blocker. He's not a fullback.
I know, but Coleman can't even do that, is what I'm trying to say. This is why he's not there for me.
We're out on Jonah Coleman. A guy that didn't make your list that you said would have made your list had you factored in, different variables in terms of sticking to your guns and not. I get what you're doing, and I do the same thing in a way. I kind of hedge it with perceived draft capital, and like I don't want to just, I have a guy like that's consensus ranked 17. It's hard to put him at 6 just because if the NFL and the scouts are viewing him like that, like the opportunity just probably won't be there. He needs a break to make it. Or Jonah Coleman might be a second-round pick. But Adam Randall is a guy, for me, that's in my top 9, and a guy that's a converted wide receiver out of Clemson. Very limited work as a running back, only 1 year as a running back. But Adam Randall is, yes, he does drop a lot of passes, which is ironic. He's a converted wide receiver. This guy is, to me, a power back version of Antonio Gibson. And the parallels are all there. And Antonio Gibson had a pretty nice little career in Washington. And he fumbled too much and too many missed assignments and drops and stuff like that, which has kind of cost Antonio Gibson any lead role ability in the NFL. And maybe that's Adam Randall's future. I don't know. I just know the dude's 6'3", dude's 230 pounds, and dude runs like the wind for his size, and he's a converted wide receiver. So I trust him in that regard. I think he's a work in progress in a lot of aspects, which makes sense. He's played the position for 1 year. But the size, speed, like this is major stuff, and he is not AJ Dillon, right? He has AJ Dillon size, but way better feet and just a better football player than AJ Dillon ever wishes he was.
I see him as a high-end comp to Tyrone Tracy, but
30 pounds more, 30 pounds bigger.
Yeah, but the problem is that, to me, is only going to land him getting drafted in the 6th round.
Oh, no way. No way. A 6'3", 230-pound guy that has this skill set's going to be in the 6th round. He's going to be a 4th round pick.
I really hope so. I really hope so because
It needs to be a early day 3, late day three, late day 2 pick to pay off on my projection and where I have him ranked. But my thing is weak running back class, weak upside running back class at least, and there might be there's a lot of guys that might have careers like you said. But give me the guy that is he's different. Like Mike Washington's a big guy and fast. This guy's a monster. And so is Jonah Coleman, but Jonah Coleman's a very specific kind of player. I think Adam Randall, given a year or two to marinate, could be any type of player you need him to be. He can be your pass-catching running back. He definitely could be your banger. He's 230 pounds, and he could be an all-purpose weapon if you get him in the right situation. And I'm going to, in a weak running back class, this is the reason that we're high on Taylor Green, not because we love Taylor Green, because we think the rest of the guys are shit. And Taylor Green, there's a chance Taylor Green
I actually like Taylor
something
Green.
Special. I do too, but I'm saying in a really good quarterback class, we wouldn't be liking Taylor Green because we just like the guys that are actual quarterbacks that are Comp is a guy that's like day one he can play in the NFL. Taylor Green's a project.
Yeah. True.
Adam Randall's a project.
Yeah, he is. The only thing I would say about Adam Randall that hasn't already been said is that, if he actually works out, this is the other Taysom Hill type player that exists in this draft other than Stowers. So
that's all we need though, because it's a weak running back class.
So I mean, that to me it has his own value.
He played at Clemson, Sports Jazz. Converted wide receiver, only 1 year. He's 6'3", 230. So there you go. That's Adam. Go watch his film. Is all I have to say to you. And the film actually isn't as impressive as you think it would be. But again, this is first year playing running back, and that size, that speed, and the wide receiver conversion. Like the thing is, people punish him for the drops. The drops he's having are like 25 yards downfield. Where like you like Damon Claiborne, but like he's not dropping the ball, but
thrown to him.
They're all at the line of scrimmage. Like Adam Randall's running downfield routes at running back, and that skill set.
Who threw him the football that last season? You know who it was.
Klubnik.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You're right, Hector. It's Clemson. Hector knows his shit.
God.
Come on, Hector. You're becoming a professional, my dude.
Klubnik is horrid.
So if you didn't go off the way you rank these players, which I don't think you're totally going off the fact that it's who's going to get a second contract and who you think is going to be a longevity player in the NFL. Adam Randall would be
who I think is going to have a career. Yeah, he would be.
Take away draft capital and take away rankings kind of thing. And if these guys were all just without a jersey,
who do I think is going to have a better career? Who do I think is going to have a better career? I'm sorry. I think Jonah Coleman will have a better career than Adam Randall.
Who's a better player, better prospect?
Adam Randall.
Okay, so
I just think Jonah Coleman will have a better career.
Adam Randall, though, would you put Adam Randall versus Katron Allen? How do you rank that one? Is it close?
Yeah, it is. I think I think Adam Randall has the potential to be a higher upside prospect than either Katron Allen or Jonah Coleman. I just think both Katron Allen and Jonah Coleman will have longer careers than Adam Randall in the NFL.
Fair. Do you want to hear my reasoning and where I'm going with this, especially in this running back class? You're talking about 4th, 5th round picks, which is, teams miss on 1st round picks all the time, Mouth.
Yep.
Travis Hunter was just traded up for. I'm not calling him a bust yet, but 2nd overall traded up for. So teams miss on top 10 picks, 1st round picks most certainly, 2nd round picks obviously, and then down the line there's just misses,
hey, look,
right?
Don't blame Travis Hunter for Jacksonville being stupid.
You
It's not his fault.
It's I'm not even counting quarterbacks. That is so situational. I'm talking about running backs, wide receivers, left tackles, you name it. In this running back class, it's so rough, right? And I'm not saying it's devoid of talent. I'm saying the high-end stuff. That's why I'm really warming on Nick Singleton. The high-end talent's not really there. Katron Allen, Jonah Coleman, these guys, yeah, they're fine. But
that's right.
If I'm taking a 4th-round pick, what's the most replaceable position in football, Mouth?
Running back or linebacker.
So why would I take a floor player that is never going to be a difference maker on my team when I can take a guy like Adam Randall and I can try to mold him into something that could be a difference maker because the size, the speed, the skill set, the receiving, being a receiver prior, like those things. I'm already expecting to miss on my 4th round pick. I know GMs don't think like this, but they should. And let's just take upside because I would rather I do this in fantasy a lot too. It's like, if you draft a team and everyone hits their ADP, let's say that no one busts, but no one hits, do you win the fantasy championship?
If everyone blossoms and
if everyone just meets their ADP and just performs as drafted, and you didn't miss on anybody, but you didn't hit anyone, and you just have a bunch of guys that were just like, okay, I drafted this 8th round receiver as my wide receiver 4, and he ended up being wide receiver 41. And my 2nd round receiver, T. Higgins, for instance, ends up being wide receiver 17. Like, you don't win the championship like that. You make the playoffs and you lose. So
that's right.
But if you draft and you miss on 3 guys, right? And they're misses. But you hit on 3 guys. Last year in particular, you drafted Javonte Williams, you drafted Chris Olave, and you drafted JSN. But you also drafted Travis Hunter and some of these other guys that were whiffs, right? That team actually has a really good chance to win the championship as long as you can correlate the other moves. And I think NFL and fantasy can be tied in this regard of like, I'm going to go for the home run. Now, early on, I don't want to whiff on my top 10 pick. I understand that. Maybe some safety needs to be in that regard. But 4th round, what are we talking? That's your 5th. A lot of these teams, 6th player they're drafting because a lot of these bum teams have multiple 1st, 2nd rounders. Give me the guy with upside.
And this is where I think a lot of GMs make mistakes. Now, the reason why I have my rankings the way I have them is this year in particular. And by the way, my final grade for this running back class is actually a B-, if you actually would believe it. And the reason it is,
is that because of Adam Randall?
No, it's actually not. And I'll tell you why it's a B-. Because despite the fact that we only have like one really big talent in this class, the talent's a really big one. So, Jeremiah Love to be at the top of this class is a really big talent to be at the top of the class. That's first. Secondly, like I said at the top, there are a lot of secondary backs in this league that have stuck around for way too long because GMs have spent way too much time trying to draft, like you have been saying lately, on potential, on let me draft this player because of height, weight, burst ratio, underwear Olympic style stuff. This running back class, while everybody has been beating the ever-living hell out of it because it's not offering you the most sexy, explosive, superstar type players you're going to see, what it is offering you is running backs that are sturdy, that are finally of NFL height and weight, that won't break the second they get touched. And, a couple of them actually can catch the football out of the backfield. You have at least 3 of them.
Marshawn Lloyd, great example. Marshawn Lloyd, right?
Yeah. Like how many of these?
I love the player. I loved Marshawn Lloyd coming out. Didn't work out, right? At all. I mean, he doesn't, I don't care how good he is.
Exactly.
He could be Adrian Peterson, but he can't play. He doesn't play. He doesn't actually play. He doesn't even practice. He does nothing.
Kendre Miller is another one of these guys.
Yeah, Kendre Miller, man. I've loved him forever. And, actually showed out a little bit last year as the ancillary back, and then he would have had his opportunity, but he got hurt again. And then in comes Devin Neal, and in comes Audric Estime. Jesus fuck. Sports Jazz, y'all think any quarterbacks besides Mendoza and Simpson have big upside? Quarterback is kind of a need for me with Nix, Brissett, Murray, and Geno on my dynasty team. So this is a loaded question. We'll get to it in a second. Sports Jazz, this is why you got to get in the Discord, because these are questions you can see your roster. We can really help you out. That's what we do on this channel.
I could handle this. Taylor Green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Taylor Green's the obvious answer. And I'm going to tell you Drew Aller, which you hate, and that's a very polarizing guy. But he's
I don't hate
upside.
him. I said Daniel Jones was his high end comp.
Okay. Story hates him. I think
Storey hates
upside, like a guy like guys like Carson Beck, and like that doesn't do that. There's no upside there, right? Like you have Knicks, Brissett,
you know what?
Murray,
that if you really want to really screw with somebody in your dynasty draft, no one in your dynasty draft is drafting Carson Beck. Let that be like the last thing you do in your dynasty draft.
Unless he goes to the Rams. If he goes to the Rams, I'm going to be about it. I'm going to be about Carson Beck because he's you know what I'm saying? Like, it's awesome.
But no one else will be, so, you heard it here.
Yeah, Sports Jazz, you got to go get in the Patreon to get in the Discord. Invite only. It's very we're a tight knit community, but
by the way, it's only $5 to join.
Yeah.
ProfessionalFanatics.com
you do
to
yearly,
sign up.
Yearly, it's $45 a year to hop in, and then we answer. All the hosts are
$45 a year.
Nothing.
Only $45 for the year. Holy shit!
If you do yearly, yeah. If you do yearly,
oh my god! And they get the bets too.
Bets is $10 a month, but I raised that up because of the success. I'm giving away money, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Printing money.
As you know. The bets are, that was $5 last year. All the guys that got in last year for $5, they're still at $5 for the bets. That's how I'm going to operate because OGs need benefits. But it's how it's going to go next year. Guess what? It's going to go up next year because if we go 100, if we go 96 and 58 again next year, Mouth, like now we're onto something huge because we have 4 years of sustained success in elite success. That'll be 5 years of elite success.
Wait till you start throwing up my game picks.
You better win now because you better win. Because I trust myself. I do trust. I know like your history in terms of calling games and you're calling upsets and you're not saying, hey, take the Titans plus 7.5. You're saying the Titans will win and they not just cover. You said they end up winning like half the time, but you're taking a 7.5 point underdog. Like obviously the points are just a gimme. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown on the hook. So yeah, I mean, history says you will be successful gambling. And obviously Storey with his college stuff is pretty goddamn elite. So you have 3 avenues
we are
there as well. And we're going to be putting up
money here, boys.
Yeah, we're going to have some college, some NFL draft props too as well. Me and Storey haven't collaborated yet in those. We're going to talk about those next time I talk to him, and we're going to have about 10 bets. Over under Jarian Price 29.5, stuff like that. We went 7-3 last year, so I'm excited for that. All the lines aren't out yet. I'm excited to bet those though because there's some definite value there. And I think a lot of times they change the lines based on all the buzz, but a lot of that stuff's smokescreen, man. Like I'm going to go off what I think these teams are actually going to do. And like Mike Washington's a great example of, I'm going to take the over. If it's like 35.5 over under drafts, like give me the over. He's going to go past 35.
Yeah, for sure. Quick answer. Yeah. So quick answer to Sports Jazz, Aller, Taylor Green. Those are your 2.
Yeah, and there's really not a lot else after that. And I would say what you could do is trade for an older quarterback. Baker Mayfield's a great dynasty target right now because the league is down on him. The fantasy community is down on Baker Mayfield and the Bucs in general. And I said this last night in the show. I picked them over 8.5 wins, and it was my 3rd pick, so I'm not too confident. But Baker's bad.
I don't know why you did that.
Go back to his last Browns year when before they shoved him out of town. He had that shoulder injury, right? Played through it all year, and that was why he sucked. And with the Bucs, it's been awesome. And then last year they were 5-1, and everything was good. And then he got hurt, and Mike Evans got hurt, but he played through the injury the whole second half of the year. And the problem is Baker Mayfield might continue to get hurt because he plays like Josh Allen. He's not that size. But with a healthy Baker in that division, 8.5 wins, and like also for fantasy, he's going redraft quarterback 16. It's a gift, man. He
Not
fucking
impossible.
runs. He chucks the ball. I don't care if Mike Evans is gone. There's guys there. As much as I hate Ibuka, like Cade Otton is not great, but he does catch touchdowns. Like
he does.
Chris Godwin's a consummate pro. I love McMillan. They're going to draft someone else. Might even draft Sadiq. And we don't even like Sadiq that much, but he'd be a nice upgrade there as a playmaker, as a guy that can catch.
He's going to Baltimore.
Take it 40 yards.
He's going to Baltimore.
That's what you've been saying. 14.
That's where he's going. Put money on it. He's going to Baltimore. That is why that trade didn't happen. The second Isaiah likely went to the Giants, all of a sudden, the Crosby's knees hurt, and Sadiq will be a Baltimore Raven. That's how I've called it on my pod. I'm calling it here, and if it doesn't happen, I'll eat my shit. But I own my opinions. That's what I do.
That's what we do. That's what we do on the show.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works. That's what we always do. And I think we are just about done. And we're about ready to wrap this sucker and wrap this puppy up.
We are. I promised my wife I'd watch a movie with her tonight. I couldn't do it earlier. I was trying to get as much prep for the show. I know Mouth comes super prepared as you can see. So I got to match that preparation. Even though I've been doing this shit for 2 months, but neither of us are college guys. So we have to put a little extra in to be talking at the level of these guys that do this for a living and in general that are just, stories all about college.
AKA,
he knows these
AKA
guys.
Mike Storey or AKA Mike Storey and Christopher Delars. Shouts to both of you. Because I swear to God, Chris is putting me through 8 million paces.
You're getting a fresh perspective from two guys here. And this is the third installment of our 4 before the draft of guys that don't have any attachment to these players, that are watching it with a pretty open mind. You root for a team, I root for a team, but we're not diehard fans of our team. We don't have rose-colored glasses for any of these guys. We just want to make money, to be right on these players, and to, translate down the road and learn about football. And that's the best way, is watching something we're kind of uncomfortable watching. It's kind of hard for us to really make A plus B equals C, which is what the draft process is for a lot of these guys. Now it's A plus B plus C equals D, because you have the combine fucking rotting everyone's brain, dude.
Yeah. Now, let me just say this with this running back class, just to give you guys an entire wrap up to what I need you all to expect from this. Now, and I understand why, guys like Adam Randall would really interest you guys. Here's what the NFL GMs are looking at when they see this running back class. They see sturdy guys that are going to go out there that they can project to be their running back to get 600 yards and on the ground, and maybe 250 yards in the air, and about 4 to 5 combined touchdowns. That's most of this class, I'd say, from, anywhere from a combination of 3, 4, maybe there's a couple of them on down, definitely Katron Allen, Jonah Coleman. Those are maybe those guys are going to get 9 touchdowns because they're going to be goal line backs, but they're never gaining more than 500 yards. By the way, Jonah Coleman might be a target for Tampa because they definitely need a goal line back. Bucky Irving's not getting that done. You see teams like Tampa that need a goal line back, teams like Kansas City that need a goal line back, teams that need help of that sort of nature, teams that need a final piece to complete their team to go on a Super Bowl run, like the Patriots. Patriots need running back help. Trevion Henderson is a whole big ball and not it. So they're going to be looking to get themselves some help. Maybe Jadarian Price might be the answer for them. Maybe they're the team that goes out and gets Jadarian Price and takes a chance on him because they got Trevion Henderson on the roster along with Ramondre Stevenson. They could afford to sit Jadarian Price for a year.
Yeah.
To push Ramondre and Trevion. Maybe that's the answer for them. Overload on running back. We have no idea where these running backs are going to go, because conceivably the only place that I see any running back going, honestly, I think Jeremiah Love is going to be a New York Giant. Wow. I got a stinking, terrible feeling.
I see Commanders. We just know he's going to go in the top 5, and whether that's team trading up, whether that's the Giants, whether that's Titans at 4, that's most likely. But you know what? Draft is 8 days away, guys. So I'm super excited about the fact the last month it's all hypotheticals ever since the season.
Wide receivers next.
We're wide receiver next week, next Tuesday night. Wide receivers, me and Mouth, and then at that point we are counting down the time. And then after the draft's over, we can start really talking instead of projections and hypotheticals. We can talk about real, like, we know these depth charts. At least we can start telling you what we think the depth chart will be and what it should be. And that's where the big stuff really happens. So, Mouth, you're the fucking man. Guys, Downtown Sports, link in the description. Search them on any single platform. They're on YouTube now. Give them a listen. You just have an episode dropping here in a day, right? Or is it already dropped?
We've dropped 2 episodes. So there's 2 episodes, some shorts. We're figuring out how to work this YouTube thing. We're starting to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to listen after the movie. I'm going to listen to the NBA one because NBA playoffs is coming up. So it's already kind of starting. It's the play-in games are they're really good, but they're kind of like the NCAA, the March Madness, those play-in games.
Me and Beast had a whole, you know what? Me and Beast had a whole talk about that.
Love it. We see eye to eye. All right, Mouth, you're the man. Appreciate you as always. A big part of the community, and can't wait to play Dynasty against you. And then the upcoming year is going to be awesome. We're going to make a lot of fucking money and dominate a lot. Again, check out Downtown Sports. You're going to see us next Tuesday, 10 p.m. Central, and you'll be seeing Mouth in the chat all the time. He drops those supers because he's a super generous guy. We love Mouth. So appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon, and thank you to everyone in the chats. Tomorrow night, me and the Chaz are on here. We're gonna do some underdog drafts. We're gonna tag team some underdog drafts. There's a new tournament that hopefully is still up. And then Friday, Mike Storey is back. We're going deep gems in the draft. We're diving really deep, like possibly undrafted players that could make an impact in fantasy, and we just like. So, again, thank you, Mouth. Great show as always, man. You know your shits. And can't wait for the upcoming future year, 2 years, 3 years, hopefully 5 years, maybe 20 years. We'll see how long this fucker goes.
Oh, we're definitely going to be going for a long, long time. Downtown Fanatics, we're not going anywhere. We're out. Thanks for listening. Deuces.
Appreciate you, dude. Love your life. Stay positive. Respect each other. Out of here.
Just seemed like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you wanted to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.
All right. If you need me, call, okay?
Oh, man, I'm golden.